The Devil Blues by I Knew a Man on AO3. Episode 5, Chapter 4, Complaint. We're turning a blank. Izuku drops the sack of papers onto his desk with a heavy sigh. Again. Kazuki shifts through the paper himself, face drawn into a look of concentration. He flips a few of the witness statements over. What did you do last time this happened? Well, Izuku rubs at his eyes. Last time we ran into this problem, we had to find another way of gathering information. Luckily, we had eyes on recent hotspots, which was still active. And so, my partner at the time, Detective Todoroki, and I went on a stakeout. We sat parked near the hotspot for a whole night and managed to get photos of these people. Izuku browsed his pitiful existence of a desk until he glazed nabs onto one of the current case files. He gingerly picks it up, amongst the other scattered paperwork, and opens the file up to the evidence section. There are several photographs pinned to the page, all of them in full color showing various shadowed figures looking around a purse box. Izuku carefully angles the file so that Bakugo can also perceive the photos. Right here. This is from 2 months ago. Bakugo leans forward in his seat to better see the image on display. His elbows rest on his knee, and hands clasped together, dangling between his spread legs. Even when sitting, he holds himself with such casual dominance. He looks calm, relaxed, but his eyes are fierce as they dash over the photos before him. Izuku may have only spent 2 days with the man so far, but he's already starting to pick up on the telltale signs between an uninterested Bakugo and one that shifts into focus. Who are they? Bakugo inquires. We don't know, Izuku admits. We didn't recognize them. Crimson eyes suddenly pin him in place. You didn't interrogate anyone from the photos. Izuku shakes his head as he retracts the file. We didn't have any suspects. Our only leads are the people in these photos who we believe to be criminals, but none of our connections on the streets can identify them. Bakugo sits back up and emits a sharp snort. You guys have the worst snitches. Ah, yes. I'm so surprised that the criminal underbelly of the city doesn't like to cooperate with the police. Izuku responds, sarcastically. They're not the only one. Listen. That Shinso guy. Bakugo interrupts. What about him? If he knows anything, he'll tell us. Izuku assures him. No, I mean as a suspect. Izuku pulls a disbelieving face. He's not a suspect, believe me. Besides, he's got an alibi with 3 people backing him up. And before you claim it's his drug buddies or whatever, he's quick to barrel on, zeroing in on how Bakugo looks ready to deny his words. I can tell you it was his previous co-workers and employer, where he worked as a street vendor, who gathered signatures for amnesty. Bakugo instantly blanches. That's right. Izuku nods fiercely, hell-bent on defending his friend from the blonde's unfounded suspicions. That man has been through hell and back, so don't tell me he's not trustworthy. He's meant to end his point with more vigor, but the creeping weariness that digs its claws into him ruins his plans. Well, what about a stakeout then? Bakugo wonders, jumping right back to the case at hand. You said that's what you did last time. You turned up with blanks with the witness statements, so let's do that again. Izuku just about manages to suppress a yawn. His shoulders tighten from the effort. It'll be a waste of time. Why? The stakeout we went on for this case gave us nothing. Like I explained before, whatever the distributors realized were on their tail, they would change their whole operation, basically forcing us to start over from scratch. We should try it again, Bakugo insists. You might spot something new with a fresh set of eyes. I don't know, Izuku murmurs, resting his head on his hands. His eyes begin to droop, so he decides to close them for just a moment. I'll just keep remembering the past events. I meant me, asshat. Oh. Izuku blinks. He attempts to straighten himself, dropping his hands down onto his lap. Damn, he must be more tired than he thought. You must be tired, Bakugo echoes. He looks to Izuku's computer screen. Just in time to clock out. Izuku's eyes also peer down to the screen, zoning in on the time. 16:57. He could feel another yawn working its way through his system, and this one he allows out, but only just. You're probably right. Izuku agrees, distractedly, too busy pinching his cheeks in an effort to keep awake. So tomorrow? Huh? Stakeout. Bakugo clarifies. Izuku hesitates before replying. I don't know. With how much Izuku keeps shooting down his request, he would have thought the blonde would snap and cuss him out. But instead, he surprises Izuku by remaining somewhat calm. What'll it hurt? Worst case scenario, we're back at square one. Best case scenario, we get the culprit. Those are two very opposite extremes, Izuku points out, from a lack of something better to contribute to the discussion with. Is there a middle ground? Middle ground is we find some information that leads us a step closer to solving the case. Bakugo states with certainty. The man is sat with his back straight, an entire beating, radiating confidence. It's not even an annoyingly cocky brand of confidence, not the type that rubs you the wrong way, like when stroking down a dog's flank in the opposite direction. No, this is genuine self-belief, strong and clear-cut. And Izuku is almost taken aback by it. Almost. Well, Izuku nods slowly, suppressing another yawn. It's a good idea, but I have no clue where the perp's current operations are. Neither their hotspot nor their headquarters, so we're gonna need to figure that out first. Bakugo scowls. How long does that take? Izuku offers the man a grimace of sympathy. Could take days, weeks, even. As predicted, Bakugo scowls deepen further. If looks could kill, Izuku swears he would have been buried 6 feet under several times over. It's not as if he doesn't understand Bakugo's frustration with the case moving at a snail's pace, but that's the nature of cases. Izuku's been in the exact same predicament when he first started out as a detective, all fresh-faced and doe-eyed, ready to put his sleeves up and drag all the filth of the city behind bars, using the righteous tool that is the law. But it's not as easy as that. Criminals don't always end up behind bars. People don't always trust the police. And cases don't always move at a speed that suits everybody. Least of all someone who's obviously impatient as Bakugo. Izuku knows that if the case didn't move along in some way, he'll lose the blonde's interest once more, and that is something he's fighting to keep. He promised the captain he would do his utmost best to prove the precinct was useful in his existence, and by Lucifer himself, Izuku would do so. He hastily weighs up his current options. Right. Looking into the case file himself would lead to a standstill, as the information they have at hand isn't enough to work on. But perhaps some of his co-workers have useful information. It's been 2 months since he revisited the current case, and although he may not have any headway, the other detectives in the precinct may have tackled cases that somehow were related to his. Izuku makes a note to send them an email before he clocks out today. Better sooner than later, after all. A sudden flash of movement tears Izuku's out of his river. He blinks up at Bakugo, who is staring down at him with a frown in place. Whatever. The man huffs, snapping his jacket off his chair and pulling it on. Tomorrow, I'll see you here bright and early. With that, he strides off through the precinct and towards the lift, leaving a blinking Izuku behind. Izuku had hoped he'd get a leg over Bakugo by rolling into work half an hour early, but that hope is quickly slam-dunked into the bin when he walks into the precinct to spot the blonde already lazing around in his desk. You really meant bright and early, huh? Izuku greets as he walks up to the desk. Bakugo's gaze suddenly latches onto his own, and Izuku feels his heart stutter momentarily. How long have you been here? The blonde holds their eye contact for just a moment beyond what is considered comfortable, then averts his gaze back to the mess of a desk. Since 6 a.m. Izuku freezes up. That's almost 3 hours of waiting. Bakugo shrugs nonchalantly. Told you to come early. Couldn't trust you to do shit. Izuku feels his jaw twitching with irritation. My work starts at 9 a.m. I thought you knew that. I did, but I thought if you were keen to solving the case, you'll come in earlier. Izuku's irritation increases at Bakugo's flagrant words. The man has no idea how much Izuku sweats and grinds over his work, pouring his very heart and soul into solving cases that find their way onto his desk. Whatever. He spits tightly, draping his jacket over the spare office chair. While you're here, we might as well get through some paperwork. Izuku's observing Bakugo closely during the announcement, and there, right there, the man tenses up at the mention of paperwork. Izuku is more than aware that taking pleasure in another person's pain is a clear sign of psychopath. But considering Bakugo causes him pain on an hourly basis, he only thinks this reserved treatment to be fair. Hiding his delight behind a carefully constructed smile, Izuku picks up a stack of unfinished paperwork from his desk and drops it before Bakugo. After all, we don't have anything to do until tonight. The blonde surveys the pile of files before him, looks equal parts apprehensive, and as if he's about to be ill, into the nearest bin. Suck it, Izuku inwardly beams. Izuku continues to scroll through his most recent emails, clicking through the ones at the top. He's received several replies from his co-workers regarding his inquiry pertaining to his case. And bless his squad, they've all pulled through. Well, not all of it is useful, like Mineta's suggestion on popular strip joints being possible hotspots for the drug distribution, but most of it is. Zero seems to have something that could relate back to his case, and the gem that is Uraraka says that one of her snitches noticed some recent activity near a postbox downtown. It sounds promising as a possible lead. God, Uraraka has the best snitches. While Izuku has been busy taking on paperwork on his computer, Bakugo has been saddled with the brunt of the actual physical paperwork. He definitely got the short end of the stick in this instance, and Izuku is fully expecting the man to be stabbing holes onto the sheets with the ear of 1,000 suns. But when he peers over, he sees nothing of the sort. Bakugo looks seemingly calm and collected as he fills out the paperwork before him. He might be impending more aggressive strokes with the pen that Izuku usually does, but other than that, he's sticking to his assigned task. Izuku, can I see you in my office for a minute? A booming voice filters through the precinct. Like a moth to a flame, Izuku instantly turns in his seat and looks to the source, finding the captain smiling at him from his office door. It takes him a few seconds to realize what the man is asking, but as soon as Izuku does, he shoots straight out of his seat. Of course, sir. He turns to push his chair into his desk when he briefly catches his Bakugo's eye. The exchange lasts less than a second before the blonde breaks eye contact. It's not a strange interaction by any stretch of the imagination, but oddly enough, Izuku does take notice of it. He doesn't allow himself to delve into that reasoning behind such action before he's straightening back down his tie and stalking right into the captain's office. Like always, the door shuts behind him, isolating the occupants of the room for the rest of the precinct. The captain shoots Izuku one of his trademark smiles, the sheer white glistle of his teeth almost blinding Izuku. But hey, he welcomes it. The man gestures towards his desk, and the two of them take their seats. The captain in his chair of command, and Izuku on the other side, as his loyal servant, always eager and always over the moon when it's presented of his hero. The captain latches his fingers atop his desk. How are things going with Mr. Bakugo, Midoriya? The question suddenly catches Izuku unaware, and he's unable to stop his smile from wavering. The captain gives him an encouraging smile. It could be going better, Izuku admits hesitantly. But I'm confident things will take a turn for the better soon. Hopefully. He finished awkwardly. He could ramble on if he wanted to. He knows he usually does. But something tells him to stop right there and then. Fixing his smile once more, Izuku wonders, why do you ask? The captain nods sagely, still daunting the comforting smile of his. I'm glad you hold that belief that things will get better for the two of you. I truly am. He falters briefly, and that's enough to cause Izuku a sudden spike of panic. Unfortunately, I don't think the feeling is mutual. Mr. Bakugo has filed a complaint form against you. I'm cutting the chapter there. I think the next one's probably going to be 10 minutes. Not sure. Probably going to be around there, 10 minutes and stuff. I'm cutting it there because I have to record, to explain myself, I'm cutting it there. 15 minutes seems good. I do daily. Don't be greedy. Okay, the next one, well, I'm actually not going to tell you the next one because, again, this is just chapter 1. But yeah, not chapter 1, but I haven't even finished this chapter is what I meant to say. This is chapter 5. No, hold up. It should not be episode 4, chapter 5. It should be episode 5, chapter 4. It's episode 5, chapter 4. I hope I said that in the beginning. I'm probably gonna check. If I didn't, I'll fix it. I'm good with fixing it today. I know sometimes I go like, I'm not gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it this time. I will fix it if it was wrong. I don't think it was wrong though. But yeah. Oh my god, that was so. It was interesting. It was interesting. Wait, is it chapter 4? Am I sure? The top here says episode 4, chapter 5. Why does it say that? Did I fuck it up on last recordings? No, episode 4, chapter 3. Why is it only like this in this one? Why is it like that in this one? Did I say that? Okay, moving on. This is interesting. I'm not gonna say much, because I don't... Bakugo. What a mighty fella. What a interesting character. He's an asshole. He's an asshole. He's an asshole in this one. Like, do not get me wrong. He's always an asshole. But, like, now... this Izuku, right, obviously, didn't grow up with Bakugo. Therefore, Izuku sees an asshole, and Izuku goes, that's an asshole, right? Which might seem out of character for Izuku, because we're used to Izuku not, being like, oh, Bakugo is, this amazing. No. Izuku no longer has those, childhood memories to, dictate what he says about Bakugo, because that's why in the canon Izuku doesn't necessarily condemn Bakugo, because Izuku's still remembering Bakugo as like a 5-year-old, 4, 3, let's be honest, he was still a little shithead back then, but he wasn't as bad. He's still viewing that Bakugo, he's not viewing this Bakugo, right? This Izuku has none of that. This Izuku just sees what Bakugo is now, and Izuku sees what he sees. A fucking bitch. Sorry. An ass. An ass. A fucking ass. He is so fucking... He's an asshole. He's an asshole. He's an ass. He is a certified asshole. And Izuku agrees. Izuku agrees. Let's just say I read a little ahead. Izuku calls him a cunt. That kind of took me to shock. Like, Izuku started swearing. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. We're here for that. We are here for that. I found that hilarious. I always find that hilarious. I always find Izuku finding Bakugo as an ass hilarious to me. It is funny. They haven't texted me back. It is funny. I'm just checking if people have texted me. I should check the other people. I've only checked one person. But take it. It's a very important person to me, so that's why. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm loving this so far because I just love Izuku hating Bakugo. Just like the whole, oh my god, that little eye contact Bakugo knew. It's why Izuku's like, hold up, why is that so significant? Bakugo made eye contact because motherfucker knew why he was called onto the office. Motherfucker knew. Motherfucker. He's an asshole. I said it already, but he's a double asshole. That asshole times 2. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.